I'm Matt.
I'm David.
I'm Cully.
And we are
We are.
This is Matt.
This is David.
I'm Cully.
And we are Waipuna.
You can catch more of our music as well as other Hawaiian music on islandemery.com.
On the 9.
On the 9.
Alright. At Island Emery on the 9 at the Four Queens, visiting with our friends from Hawaii. They'll be playing in downtown Henderson, Water Street Plaza. So welcome to the group Waipuna. Aloha, fellas.
Aloha, guys. Aloha.
Aloha.
And your brother Matthew, brother Calais, and brother David here, coming straight to the 9th Island. Now, you guys coming to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I know you guys got on last night, and the one thing about it, obviously the oxtail soup is always the number one thing. Before we get into music.
At the kettle,
when you get in, everybody says, oxtail soup, and then maybe a little, little workout sessions at the crack table or something like that.
Yeah. We worked the buffet a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you guys knew you guys were coming to the 9th Island, man. What was one of those things that, do you guys feel like electricity every time you guys get
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely,
It's
man.
been 5 years since we've been here last, so definitely you got the energy, you got the food, the lights, everything is just like sparkling.
Especially up here in Vegas, there's a lot of transplants, from Hawaii transplants. So, the energy of the people here who already, who came from Hawaii, when they found out, groups coming up, we feel that energy from them. Oh, kame.
That is awesome. Now, we just kind of talked about off screen what Waipuna means, and Matt was explaining to me it is
It was a street that I actually grew up on, and then, because I know your family has very strong ties to Haula, which is a small town of the northeastern side of Oahu, right next to La'i and Kahuku and whatnot. And when we formed the group, I told him, what, I've always loved that name, Waipuna.
It was outside Akubon Bar.
It was outside Akubon Bar.
Outside the bar. I think I was working and he was over there drinking, and then we did a couple gigs and said, hey, we're gonna make a run at this group thing, yeah? And then he goes, I got the name. And I said, what? He goes, Waipuna, I grew up on Waipuna Street. I said, okay, yeah, let's go.
And I think, it was something, because when he and I first started this group, we come from different but similar backgrounds of music. We both played Hawaiian
Similar
music.
but different.
Yeah, similar but different. And, but I think the one thing that he and I both were known for back in 2007 when we actually first started this, we were the musician's musician. We were always backing up other people separately. And then so when we came in together, it was like, wow, now we can do our own thing. And that's where we came, that's when I said, that name, Waipuna. Waipuna means spring water, right? But in order for the water to become spring water, it goes through a cycle. Sometimes 60 years ago, where the rains first fell down, right? Comes down into the mountainsides to the Auai, goes down into the earth, comes back up as fresh, clean water. But that water is as fresh as you're gonna find. And that's something that I thought that when we were playing together, just the two of us in a bar with just two people watching us, we were noticing that we were just kind of throwing things out that we've always wanted to play. And together we just kind of like had this electricity. It was almost like that water that went through a cycle. So we took some old songs and we kind of like brought it back up, brought it new life. And that's the cycle of Waipuna, that spring water.
The only problem with Waipuna is it begins with W.
Yeah.
Alphabetical, it's at the end. It's at the bottom of the list.
It's funny, we used to go to Borders bookstore, our second album was in there. Everyone's looking, Waipuna all the way at the end over here. And
I would always put it in the front. Just spread it out, cover up over some other guys. Sorry, Billy K.
Now, with the the genre of music, like today, it is 2022, and then everything's kind of just refocused on R&B and reggae now these days.
Yeah.
And then that's what is bringing the kids up here. But with you guys, obviously, living that, I can feel it moves me because of that old soul, you know, the music that we were raised up with, your grandfather playing outside. They, you know, people just kind of feel outside in the garage. I mean, you guys still just, is that what you guys focus on, or are you guys thinking of?
Well, we're super fortunate because, I'm super fortunate because, like, I got a Sprout and a Kamakahi in the group, right? And so those are two names synonymous with like great Hawaiian music. You know, David's father, of course, the Reverend Dennis Kamakahi, and then Matt's great uncle, Uncle Kindi Sprout. Just pulling from that, and we all went to Kamehameha schools, so there's that background as well. But especially when David joined the group in what?
That was 10.
12. Officially 12, yeah. Officially 12, like
2012.
And he brought his background with the Sons of Hawaii and the numerous. Because how many songs did Dad write?
About 800.
800 songs, bro. So being able to pull that, and then like Matt was saying earlier, you know, consider the rain when it comes down. That's all the knowledge and was passed on to us, you know, all the songs of our kupuna, his father, his uncle, like his whole family, and then it comes up through us in that freshwater spring with a new take, a new style. There's a few of Uncle Dennis's songs that I said, Dave, we can do this or what? Like just turn it upside on its head, and we were able to do that, and I think he liked it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You know, also, what you're talking about as far as the genres go and whatnot, one thing that we've noticed within this new generation is the resurgence of the Hawaiian language.
Yes.
That wasn't prevalent when we were kids, you know? I mean, when we were in school, we went Kamehameha. It was offered in Kamehameha. It wasn't offered in so many other schools. But even like myself, I wasn't allowed to take Hawaiian language. My father then said, yes, limu, that's old stuff. Don't learn that. Learn something else. You know, so that was still that mindset. But nowadays, you find Hawaiian language being taught in pretty much all of the public schools.
I think Hawaiian language is a requirement now at Kamehameha, like the first year.
Yeah,
I think it's
that's
a requirement.
True. That's true. But you see the resurgence and how the kids these days are now speaking Hawaiian. They have a lot more understanding of the sentence structures, the vocabularies than what we did. So I think, you know, even with our music that we particularly sing within the Hawaiian language, that there is something where a lot of the generation is still grabbing onto and gravitating. Our biggest fans were always the tutus, yeah, and you know that hula side of Hawaiian music. But we see a lot more of like my nephews who are in high school is, oh yeah, uncle, you know, my girlfriend, she danced your song, she, you know, that kind of stuff, which was not common back, you know, when we were growing up. So I think there's a big resurgence of that language back into.
That's actually a really good point, because when we went to high school, never had internet, never had YouTube.
Yeah.
We had to go straight to the kupuna, or like his father, or like straight to the source. Nanai kawai, yeah. Nanai ke kumu. Look to the source of the water. Look to the kumu, and I think nowadays, like, I would say there's a little bit of disparity or a little bit of separation, because not everybody does that, because they just watch something on YouTube now.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we really practice as well, and we continue to, because that's how we were brought up. I mean, we used to go to Uncle Dennis all the time, you know, to get the straight from the source, the mana'o, the thought behind the song, and all this kind of stuff. And it's a shame that not everybody, all the kupuna is around to be able to share that. And just things are moving so fast, whether it be the internet or data and social media, that not everybody spends the time like how we do. To get that full background of the mana'o and the kauna, the underlying meanings of all the songs.
We do put a high standard on that. Every song that we record, if it's not something that we wrote or something like that, if it's an old song, that we will actually do the due diligence of researching that song, finding everything about that song, and also due diligence on getting the right words.
And the permissions. And the right melody line.
And the right melody lines.
You are right. I mean, as you musicians and you guys are, touring and, and literally perpetuating the culture, you guys still work jobs. You guys have regular jobs, like work.
Yeah. I work at the Office of Foreign Affairs, and Matt.
I've always been on, I've always been, well, for the last 10 years, I've been a full-time musician, but I've been a hobbyist woodworker, and also my wife owns a consulting company, so I do a lot of research stuff for her. But since the pandemic, I had to switch all of that around, so now I actually fully vested into a woodworking business for the past couple of years, and it's been interesting, but I love it.
Using your hands.
Using my hands.
The voice.
Yeah.
I've been a full-time musician for 30 years.
Oh,
Wow, you should do like an anthology.
Yeah, almost 30 years. I started when I was 15, 42. Oh God.
Oh man, but
Yeah.
growing up with your father, did you get a lot of cracks? Like,
Oh, I went to the school of hard knocks when I first got into the music industry. It wasn't like, because even today, there's no curriculum on how to do this.
Actually, David has an interesting story about how he learned.
yeah, no, I mean, because your father.
Yeah, I learned it in secret.
Come on, sit down.
no way. He did that
His older brother.
with, my
got
older
that.
brother got
His-
that.
Oh, no.
His older brother actually
He got
looks
all the
exactly like.
lessons. all the instruction, the one-on-one instruction, and then it all went because they always butt heads.
Wow.
So when I started learning, I actually learned in secret. I learned after school, and I would put all the instruments away, all the music sheets away before anybody got home, until my mom came home early one day and she got me practicing just over and over and over again. And so that's how it all started. She actually went to my father and said, "You know what? Your other kid can play." My dad's like, "Yeah, right."
It's always like,
And the first time you played with him was Kauai, yeah?
Yeah, I was for my 15th birthday. He said, "Oh, happy birthday! You gonna play with me once?
I'll go put you to work."
Put you to work on one show." I'm like, "Oh, great!" And then, yeah, since then, it was more of a mentorship. He took me under his wing and says, "If you really want to do this, I'm gonna show you, and I'm not gonna hold back. I'm not gonna shield you from the bad parts of the music industry because everything's learning experience." Yeah, he goes, "Even when you fail, you gotta get back up. You gotta get your creativity back, and you gotta just keep going and going and going." And he goes, "The real professionals and the real musicians are the ones that don't let anything stop them. They just keep playing their music. They keep sharpening their skills. They keep writing songs." So yeah, with Dad it was the school of hard knocks. And he would just guide me along the way,
That's so awesome.
like a little tweak here and there.
I've heard of other people that usually get the spoon, pull it here,
Matt learned in secret too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah?
Something about that time.
I wasn't allowed.
Old school.
I wasn't allowed to play music or to become, even though my family was known for it.
Both sides of your family.
Both sides were known for it, but my dad, them were always like, well, my dad especially was kind of like, no, you get your head in the books, and I never I wanted to play guitar, so I wanted to learn, right? So my dad had this old guitar in the case that he'll put on the top shelf in the living room, and the only time, it came out every once in a while when we kind of kapila around the house, but I kind of knew when the kind of kapila was going to happen. But I would actually go up, take the guitar out, stash it in my room, put it back up, because if all you see is the case, you don't know what's inside. It looks good. And I would practice middle of the night, like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, real softly. My dad had this old book, right, and learned how to play the chords and everything like that. That's how I started learning. It was that in secret. We're not allowed to play music, yeah. But after a while, my dad's my biggest fan now, so that's...
Seems to be just like sports and musicianship. What about you, Cody?
Oh, it was no secret.
No secret.
It was no secret, but I went the more classical route. So I was took piano lessons. That didn't take. Then I took trombone lessons, Like, I'm like blowing on this thing all the time. And then I played the upright bass in the orchestra and actually pursued that through intermediate and high school to the point where I got a scholarship at UH to play in the symphony. So I'm a little bit more on the classically trained side. But when I switched over to Hawaiian music, it was harder. It was like, where's my notes? And then it was like, oh, you mean I can just do whatever I want within the chord? And then I started bringing that over to the classical side, and then I would get stern looks from my conductor all the time, like, stick to the page.
But if you knew his father and mother, and their home, there's all kinds of instruments all over the house. They loved it. Actually, his father, really interesting story. His father was really close with the Beamer brothers.
Yeah.
And Keola Beamer,
Yes.
that night that he wrote Honolulu City Lights,
Yeah.
his father picked him up.
Yeah, from Leva Heights, they take him to the airport, all that stuff. So
He wrote that song prior to him going to the airport or something. His father picked him up that same night that he wrote Honolulu City Lights.
and maybe Uncle Keola can corroborate this or not. You know, when you get the stories that come down, it's like, oh, how much salt do I add to this?
Facts. No, but now you guys are in Las Vegas and you guys are touring and just perpetuating the culture. I mean, I'm so glad to see artists like you guys coming to the night and sharing and I cannot really wait to hear the reviews of what tonight's show is going to. You know what I mean? I feel because all the following the social media that's coming to me, and then they say, "Oh, Emery, you gonna be there?" Yeah, I'm gonna be there. And then also, you know, some of the other cast members of the radio show too. But we're just like, no, we're just gonna sit there and relax. You know what I mean? Just take it in because, you know, it's what it's because this is a hustle and bustle 24-hour town. You know what I mean? And the people, you guys, the thing or the local that you guys are bringing to it just gets us right back into that stage of, oh, you know what? I remember, you know, just cruising. I don't know. I'll be honest with you, every time I go back home, I go to the cemetery, take my toe pack, sit by my grandfather's resting place, and I just look at the ocean. And I just like, wow, you know, it just takes me back. And then, you know, listen to you guys' music and just kind of, just like, understand, like, you know what, life is not all that. You know what I mean? And with you guys coming to the mainland, especially in Lantana, you know, because we do carry a lot of people from Hawaii or Polynesia. You know, much blessings. These fellas, they won so many Nahopu Hano awards because Kalese, he don't know how many. But I don't want to put my blast. But can you explain to that? Because you know, a lot of people up here in the mainland, it's not just Hawaiian. You know, people that love your music, it's not just Hawaiian. You know, always Hawaii people. What does the Nahopu Hano awards mean to you guys? Can you explain that to? Meaning, like, you know, is it the Hawaiian Grammy? You know, is it that stature? You know, is it the?
To me personally, I've always wanted to win a Hoku before, if you know, more than a Grammy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that I don't know if that's speaking out of line, but to me that's when you know when you win a Hoku, that means you know you're appreciated within the community.
Yes.
And our Hawaiian music community is a very small one, but it has a lot of clout to it. It says, you know, because it's really different. It's a different game in the Hawaiian music community to really get that type of accolade. And it's, you know, people always say it's hardest to get the first one.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this. Matt hit it on the point where it's something that's voted upon by your peers, and these are people that know Hawaiian music. So it's more than just like putting out a good song or a catchy tune. It also has to do with the composition and the poetry and how you present it. And even in representing a song like how we did with some of Uncle Dennis's music, how do we put a new take on it but still be respectful? Because, you know, I don't know who the people are who vote for the Grammys, but if I do a song wrong, I go home, you know, I go and hear about it from auntie and uncle. You know what I'm saying? So
they are your worst critics.
It's worst and best.
Yes, you're correct.
So I really love and value the Hokus above everything else because it's being voted upon by the people that we looked up to coming up in the industry.
Yes.
And the people that actually know the music, as opposed to just somebody else who doesn't know the music as well, or doesn't know the culture, or doesn't know like how Hawaiian poetry should be presented.
Right.
So we take a lot of stock and value that. And I'll be honest, we don't promote, like if we're ever up for the Grammys and stuff, we don't promote ourselves. We're just like, okay. In some ways, like I'm hoping we don't have to go because I don't want to pay all that money to all that red carpet stuff and you can ask that. I hate the camera, bro. I hate the camera. That's why most of our albums don't even have our faces on it. It's like, let's get a pretty lay.
Well, that is the secret. More to come from Waipuna. They are traveling within the 49 states, but the first stop is right here on the 9th Island. Can you guys take us out with a song?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We'll do a song that we featured on our 5th album. It was composed by Dr. Puakea Nogameyer, who's kind of one of our kumu. He's one of our mentors, and we were thinking, because our 5th album represented or celebrated our 10 years together as a group, and we thought, okay, we should have a song named Waipuna.
Yeah.
Like other groups have songs, with their name in it, and we just wanted to really represent and leave a legacy behind that somebody else can maybe pick up. Talking about the cycle of water and the cycle of life, and how we cycle of love, and how we really take the water as it comes down, or the knowledge as it comes down and comes up through all the different filters, and then we represent it in Waipuna.
It's funny how, like you were saying, Dr. Puakea Nogameyer wrote this song, but before this, because we knew we wanted a song for us, so we sat down with him. For like half an hour each, just listen, and he just asked questions to us. So there's things in here that are specific to each one of us, right? Because even in the last verse, Akahimau Kavaiola, my middle name is Kavaiola. So these little things, little nuances all throughout the songs that pretty much depict us as individuals and as a group, right? So there's little things here. So when he gave us the song, it was just words, and we put a melody line together that we felt it would be fitting.
Yeah.
And that's how we came with this song, Waipuna. 5, 6, 7, 8. ka iho na aliha ke kahena o no hinoi kahe mau ka vai o la o ke au nei koni koni ke aloha o koni ka vai o na ko I o ka aina he piko ko hai o la kuluma he waipuna polo ai ke olai he piko ko ai o la kuluma he waipuna polo ai I ke olai
Hey, mahalo.
That is Brother David, Brother Matt, Brother Calais, Waipuna, here on the 9. Mahalo guys for everything.
Hey, mahalo for having
Mahalo,
us.
Lgsvegas.